When I was a year old, they told me. I don't remember. For some reason, I don't go back that far. But I was a year old when I come to Texas to Piceance Creek, and I don't remember too much about the first part of my life in Piceance Creek. First I remember is when Dad had the LOV ranch leased to put up the hay. And I remember one morning I was under the kitchen table putting some used shoestrings in my shoes, and he wanted to know what I was doing. I told him it was none of his damn business. And that's where I made my first mistake. He made it somebody's business. He paddled me till I remembered it. Then I made one more mistake with Dad. It was when I told him to go to hell. And he didn't want to go. And he paddled me again. But I deserved both spankings, I'll say that. But I didn't want any more of them, and that's the last time he spanked me. It's when I told him to go to hell. I learned my lesson the hard way. He laid it on. When he gave you a spanking, you remembered it. He only gave me 2. And that was enough.
Just really don't want to go there again. So
no.
So after, how old were you then?
I was about 6 years old and smart age.
And you were, let me see, you were going to school up at the Rock Schoolhouse?
Uh-huh.
What was that like?
It's down the road here about a quarter of a mile. Built in 1897, I think.
So what, they had 100 kids there?
Oh no, there's more than out there than there is now. But of course they've closed that school. But
how many kids were there?
About 5 or 6.
They hired a school teacher to...
Yeah, they had a school teacher. And I graduated out of grade school there. I don't remember what year it was.
Did you walk or ride a horse?
Rode the horses.
And you were the baby?
I'm the baby boy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bev was the baby sister.
Right.
She gets her turn next, I understand. Well, I don't know.
So, Grandpa Dell was running the ranch up there. There was a succession of ranches that here in the valley that you moved to, that you worked.
PL Ranch and the Love Ranch is about the only one. And then I remember some of that down there at the Foot Place, but I know Roy got a hell of a spanking for putting grease on Bob Reagan's car. Dad gave him he shouldn't have been quite so mean to him. We all were in on it, but Roy took the blame. And we thought it looked pretty. We put that grease all over that car and got rid of the dust. But Bob Reagan didn't think it was so pretty.
And that was a big old black car anyway.
Yeah.
Now, I heard the story.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, from Rex.
From Rex, huh? Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, what do you remember when you went to the ranch down here, that on the way up to Cow Camp? What ranch is that? What's the name of that ranch where you and your grandpa and your family lived?
Oh, they're at the PLs? Yeah, we lived at the PLs for 20 years, I guess. Folks were living there and had at least to put up the hay for $2.50 a ton. And then they got 50 cents a ton for feeding it out. we didn't get very rich, but I don't know how Dad fed us all. But and Mom, she washed her clothes about every day, patched them. We all wore patched clothes, but we all ate. We all respected our mother, probably more than we did our dad. But I probably shouldn't say that.
Well, you're old enough. You can
Say what you want.
say whatever
They're
you
both
want.
gone. They can't haunt me now, I
No?
guess.
Well,
But I learned one thing from my mother, that hard work never hurt anybody. She lived to be 95, and nobody worked any harder than she did all of her life. Took care of us kids and fed all the people on Piceance Creek that come along hungry at mealtime. She was a wonderful person.
that's saying a lot, you know. She had 10 kids.
Yeah, 11.
11. Oh, right. One passed.
One passed away when he's 2 years old.
What was his name?
Huh?
What was his name?
Little Claudia. That's all I ever knew.
And
Right. That would have he'd have come before you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Since
Yeah, he'd have been before me.
Yeah.
I think he's between Roy and Wayman. That's what I think.
Now they were, if you were one when the family got here, and they were 4 or 5. Roy was like 4 or 5 when he got here,
Yeah.
and Wayman was what, a year or two
He's
older?
2 years older.
2
It'd
years
be
older.
4 years older if he was between Claudia. I don't know where Claudia came into the family at, to tell you the truth, but I should have found out. But
so your life up there at the PL, that was the longest time that your family lived in one place, wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
And you had a grandfather from England?
yeah. Yeah, he lived up there. He lived in the cabin in the garden, an old garden hire place up there. But he got sick and passed away there one night, there at their house.
What do you remember about him? He seems to be a character. Some, you know,
He what?
What do you know about his history? And what was his name? Or
Ezra?
Ezra.
and he was. I heard that he'd have his tea. Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, and then he had a fiddle. And he got arthritis in his hands, and he couldn't play the fiddle very well. But every once in a while, he'd get him limbered up to where he could play the fiddle. I guess Wayman's wound up with the fiddle. He said whichever one of the kids, Dad said, whichever one of the kids learned how to play the fiddle. Wayman never did really learn how to play the fiddle, but he could make a noise on it. So he got the fiddle.
That was all it was necessary.
Yeah,
If you can make
I
noise.
guess that's all that's necessary. He got the fiddle anyway. I guess Jerry still has it. But Grandpa took that all apart and scraped it. Scraped the inside of that fiddle till it had a different tone than most fiddles. Then he put it back together. He was a pretty good carpenter, the way I remember it.
What did he do as a trade? Did he work on the farm?
Oh, he was more or less retired then. He was pretty old. The time I remember him.
80s?
Huh?
Maybe in his 80s?
I imagine in his 80s.
And he came from England?
I don't know where he came from.
Do you remember him having an accent, or did he talk just like a Texas man?
No, he talked like a Texas drawl. You said I could smoke, so you didn't say how many.
You- Well, you know, you got a backup pack?
Yeah, I got a backup pack.
So tell us about your mother. What was her day like, and how helpful were your sisters in her being able to pull off food, baking bread, straining milk, however you did your milk,
Well,
hauling water? What was life like there for you?
well, we had a big pot out there that we packed water in on the worst days. Fill that pot and then build a fire around it with wood around the outside of it and heat the water. And then she'd wash the clothes. But she worked hard. She worked in the garden, and
How did you get water to the garden? Did you bring that from the creek?
yeah, we got water out of the creek to irrigate it.
By bucket or?
No, with gravity flow. But I used to help Mom a lot with the garden, I thought anyway. Maybe she didn't think so, but I thought I did.
You hung out in the strawberry patch. You hung out in the strawberry patch.
Yeah.
Helped out where you could there.
Yeah, that was up West Stewart, though, the strawberry patch was. Wayman had the strawberry patch.
And your sisters, what did they do to help? Did they take care of the smaller children?
Yeah, they helped take care of the younger children, and they helped cook, the older ones did,
That would have been Gladys.
Gladys and Edith. And Winnie helped a lot there after Gladys and Edith both got married and left. But that was the funny thing about it. The older ones would get married and leave, and then they'd come back in a little while and stay there with Mom, and she had to cook for them. She averaged probably about 30 people a day, feeding them.
What did she cook? Did you guys do the hunting too?
Oh yeah, we ate a lot of deer meat. I didn't know what beef was raised for until I was 20 years old. I thought we just novelty or something, and then finally I figured out they did eat them. But we ate a lot of deer meat, and it was good. If it hadn't been for the deers, we wouldn't have had any meat, I guess. Wayman usually killed 8 or 10 of them and put them up in this cabin, and in the wintertime we'd go up there with a sled and a team and haul one down and put it in the house and build a fire in the heater, thaw it out so we could skin it. Then we'd skin it. If you skin them before you took them up there, they'd dry out so bad you had nothing but jerky. But if you left the skin on them and then thawed them out when you got ready to eat them, they were pretty good.
Now you had tags for all those, right?
Have what?
You got a.
Oh yeah, we had tags for them. Hell no, we didn't have no tags for them. The game warden knew we didn't have any tags for them.
How else would you feed the game warden when he came by?
Well, if we knew he was coming, he'd come in and eat. If he happened to drop by, he didn't know he was coming, he wouldn't come in. He didn't want to eat beef or buckskin. But he was a good game warden.
Well, he knew the circumstances.
Yeah, he knew what was going
He
on.
knew.
Yeah, we had to eat buckskin to stay alive. And then Mom would make about 13 loaves of bread twice a week. Boy, we always ate it up pretty fast. Remember that, it was good bread. She'd make some cinnamon rolls, and they didn't last very long either, as I
She
remember.
made those in a wood-burning stove.
Yeah.
You didn't have any electricity.
No electricity, no.
And how big was the place that you lived in? Was it one room, or did you have more than one room?
Well, that one winter we lived in that one room after the house burnt down. The house burnt. And there was this little cabin there, and that's all we had to live in. There was 8 of us stayed in there all winter. That wasn't a damn mess. But we made it. We're still alive.
How did the house burn down? Were you there when it burned?
Yeah,
Did y'all, was it nighttime?
it caught the flu. The wind was blowing hard, and it didn't last very long. There was a gas tank sitting there at the end of the house, and that's all I could think of is that thing catching on, blowing up, see. But it didn't.
Were you able to save anything out of the house, or did you just run for your life?
We just got out of there. Wayman was sick in bed, Mama was sick. But we all got out. Buddy Meeker was down there at the other house, and he said, Mom, Johnson's house is on fire. She didn't pay attention to him. He said, Mom, Johnson's house is on fire. By that time it was burnt up. But he finally got it through to her that the house was on fire.
So how were you able to start over? Did people in the community help
Yeah.
you with
Oh yeah.
clothing?
Everybody brought in things for us. And that's when we moved into the little one-room cabin, 8 of us.
Was it a dirt floor?
Huh?
Dirt floor?
No, it had a floor in it.
Now, how did you get privacy?
We didn't.
Do you hang sheets?
Huh?
You hang sheets? You hang sheets in that room?
Yeah, we did some. But we had 2 bedsteads on wheels, and we'd roll them out at night. Then we'd get, us kids would get on the floor in the back, younger kids. Then we'd make the bed in the morning before we got out of there, and then they'd roll the bedsteads back over them. And so we had a little room during the day. We didn't have any room there during the night, though. And the old cabin's still standing up there at the PL that we slept in.
So then what happened? Did you rebuild the house then?
Yeah, and then next summer we built a house.
How did you do that?
Well, Dick Meeker bought a house out there at Rifle, and we tore it down and hauled the cinder blocks out there and built the house.
I'm sure you've had building permits also, and architects to help you do that, right?
Yeah. No, there wasn't any architecture. You didn't have to have a building permit, I don't think, at that time.
I'm just teasing you. So was it a cinder block house, or was it a log and wood? And
Cinder blocks.
is that still up there on the PL
And
now?
no bathroom, or there was a heating stove in the front end, and then we had a cook stove in the kitchen part. But Dad used to go down to Grand Junction and buy 20 bushel of peaches in the fall. And Mom would can them, and be during haying season that he'd go, and we'd hay in the daytime and peel peaches at night. And then Mom would can them the next morning. So we always had peaches to eat in the winter.
Yep.
She made them in half-gallon jars. We pretty well cleaned them up every time she opened a jar. Those were the good old days.
What year? They're back up here on Rio Blanco store up here. Used to be that used to be close to civilization.
Yeah.
Right, that was as close to town as you might get for.
Yeah, we used to get groceries. The mailman would bring them down. I don't know whether anybody ever mentioned that Dad drove the mail team and delivered the mail on Piceance Creek for a couple of years too. I guess Bob Reagan had the mail route contract, but he used to deliver mail down here.
So mailman delivered the groceries as well?
Yeah.
That's nice. They don't do that anymore, do they?
No, they don't do it. The store's closed up there. They used to have the post office up there.
What else was in that corner?
That was all just.
Was there a hotel across the street? An old hotel?
Oh, they had a schoolhouse across the street, yeah.
Was
Then
there
they
ever,
had an old hotel down there. By the creek. I remember when I was about 8 years old, Charlie Brown hired me to go to Rifle and bring some of his cows. He used to winter cattle out there, and in the fall they'd get out on the road, and then they'd go head for Divide Creek where they were fed the last year. They were out there. I went out and stayed with Gladys and Fred one night, and I stayed in that old hotel one night. I stayed there. I left PL's and rode a horse out to the store and stayed all night there, and then I rode him on into Rifle the next day and got the cows and come back. And coming up the Rio Blanco hill, a water or gas truck come down off of there and hit one of them and killed it. So I didn't know what to do with it. I had a pocket knife, so I took the entrails out, called Charlie Brown and told him somebody hit one of his cows. He came and got it. I don't know whether it's worth eating or not.
how old were you?
I dressed it off. Oh, I was about 8 or 9 years old, I guess. I wasn't very old. But I got the guts out of it.
How did you begin your career as a cattleman?
Oh, I always wanted to be a cattleman, I guess, ever since I was little. When I was going to high school in Rifle, I'd always want to get back to the ranch so I could be with the cows.
So how'd you get your break? When did you buy your first cow?
Oh, I bought one up there when I was up at Meeker's. Well, there was a heifer come in. She'd fell off the rim up West Stewart and broke her shoulder. And I babied it around there and fed it on a bottle and stuff. I used to have to take care of all the potties that come in there. But anyway, she got pretty good. So Dick Meeker, he needed some meat to eat. He traded me a 4-legged animal for this crippled heifer. So that started me in the cow business. Then Waddy Love had an old cow come in up there one fall. He used to run them on the little hill, and she come in there to support. She couldn't make it down the road to the Rub Ranch. So I'd soak oil cake. He used to get that old 41% protein oil cake. I soaked it in water, and then I'd open her mouth and put one down her throat. So I finally got her up to where she could walk, and I called Waddy and told him, I said, I think that old cow will make it home now, Waddy. Called him Waddy Love. He said, well, I'll just give her to you, Pat. So she had a calf in the spring, and so I was back in the cow business.
And you were, how old?
I was probably 10 or 11 years old by then.
Would it seem like you would have grown up to be a veterinarian instead of a cattle baron?
I should have, maybe. I don't know. What?
Oh, that door's partially open.
Oh,
We're heating the out of doors.
I see, okay. Little girl must have went to the car, huh?
No, she's laying on the couch.
Oh, she's in on the couch, okay. Well, I didn't want her to get cold.
So, did you have memories of your time in Rifle? You went in and stayed with your sister Gladys when you went to Rifle High School?
Yeah. And Fred had 2 jobs. Fred Hodge. So I'd go to the pool hall early in the morning and sweep it out and wash the spittoons and everything, and he'd drive the bus, deliver kids to school, and then when he got the kids delivered to school, he'd walk down to my, Kurt, can't think of that old guy's name, Kurt something, pool hall, and then I'd walk to school.
So what time did you
Just-
get up to do all that?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose we got up at 6 o'clock. Took me a while to sweep that big old building out, get rid
Which
of.
building was that? Is that the old Winchester?
No, it was a pool
Midland?
hall in there. It was all on that corner on that. I'd be on the south side of where you cross the intersection there. There was.
Is that where the Timberland, whatever, sporting goods store is now? Across from the old drugstore?
Yeah, it's across the street there from the old drug. I don't know what's in there now.
Yeah. Well, so what was it like to be separated from your family? Was it good to be with your sister and Fred?
Yeah.
Was life good? You go home on the weekends, or?
Yeah, I'd come home every weekend if I could. Finally got to where I could go to Rifle and back without getting sick when I was going to school. I used to get car sick, terrible car sick. When I was little, they'd go to town and I'd think, well, I guess I'll go to town with them, see what I can see. And I'd get sick going out, then I'd get sick coming home, and then I'd wait another year and I'd think, well, maybe I'm old enough now I won't get sick. But I finally got, when I got high school age, I could go to the Rifle and back without getting sick, car sick.
So when did you meet your wife? Did you date other women in the area here and have girlfriends, or was your wife
Oh, I met her up
your
at,
first love?
I met her up at Silk. She's my first love, I guess, and my last love, I guess. She was a good lady. Hadn't been for her, I wouldn't have this ranch. We didn't buy anything that we couldn't pay for. At the time we bought it, we didn't go in debt anymore, but the old banker up in Glenwood, that was his name. I came down here in 1948, March the 15th, bought a half interest in this place, Charlie Brown. But I was married in 1945, July the 10th, to Mary Louise Paulson.
And she was up in Silt, or where was she raised?
She lived up Rifle Creek. Her folks lived up Rifle Creek. She'd been married. She lost her husband in the war. But she was a good woman, for me anyway. I'd never made this ranch work if it hadn't been for her.
So you guys were a team.
Huh?
Pretty good team, weren't you?
Yeah. Joe Gregory was the banker in Glenwood. He's the one that made it work for me. Every time I need money, I knew Joe he'd give it to me. Or loan it to me. He didn't give me anything.
Didn't give you much. Maybe a cup of coffee.
Maybe a cup of coffee, a time or two. But he was a good banker. And he's the one that got me started. And then the Fowler place come up for sale, and he said, Pat, you got to have it. It fits right in your operation. I said, Joe, I'm so far in debt now, I'll never get out. Oh, yes, you will. He took a liking to me for some reason or other. I don't know why, but because I was a worker, I guess. But it wasn't easy.
So where did you live? What was your first, was this the first house that you lived in here? Or was
Yeah.
there another house on the property?
No, we lived in this first house. But there's a room in there, and this bedroom, and the closet is where the bathroom is. And this was the kitchen. Kitchen stove used to sit there, where the paneler is.
And so you mentioned earlier that carriages parked in here at one time?
Yeah, they used to park the carriage in this part of the kitchen part. So that's getting back. This house was, the old part of this house was built in 1909. Then we built that room on and built it in 1963, I think it was. We built this room on and the bathroom in there and that bedroom.
And what year was your daughter born?
1950.
That sure changed your operation, didn't it?
Yeah. Then we lost a little boy in 1949, I guess. Mary Lou had what they call placenta previa. She started bleeding one night. She got up, thought she had to go to the bathroom. And the moon was shining in that bathroom window in there. She seen it was blood, so I rushed her up to Glenwood. They said if that happened again, she'd probably bleed to death before they could do anything. So we decided we'd take the baby. It was only 7 months old. Only lived 11 hours, but they can save it now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, you go through a lot of, in life you go through a lot of ups and downs, and people are looking out for you, and bankers and like that, but there's places that hurt too.
Yeah.
But then she had another successful pregnancy, and you had
Yeah,
Sally
she
Lou.
wanted another one. She wanted to adopt one, in fact, after we had Sally. Doctors told her she couldn't have any more. Her uterus was, he's afraid it'd rupture. So she wanted to adopt some, but I said no. I got one girl, and I'm afraid I'd show partiality if I adopted one. So I don't want one, but looking back, I wished I had adopted 2 or 3, I guess.
Yeah.
But if you'd had a stable out there with young bucks out there.
Yeah.
Boys to help you. And so, tell me about the color red.
Well, Gladys Hodge was working in the Beals Appliance store, and this red stove came in there one day, and the shipment, she called Mary Lou up and said, Mary Lou, you got to get to town. I got something out here you need. She knew Mary Lou loved red. So Mary Lou went to town and bought the stove, and we got it in 1955 when we got electricity in the house. And it's been there ever since. It still works.
And you have red leather furniture and red
Yeah.
Persian rugs.
We
and
had a red refrigerator, and it went kaput, and they said they couldn't fix it.
red cars, red trucks.
Yeah. Everything was red. Any color just so was red. Mary Lou loved it.
Red cowboy boots.
Yeah, she had some red cowboy boots, too.
Was all of her underwear red?
Just what?
All of her underwear was red?
I don't know. Probably.
That's wonderful.
Sometime or other. Well, it's been a good life. I've enjoyed it. Nobody worked any harder than Mary Lou and I did making it. But anyway, it was fun. It was more fun before we got the note paid off at the bank than it has been since. But we knew we had to make those payments, so we worked harder.
Tell us about your hunting camp up.
The what?
Your hunting camp. Tell her about how you got acquainted with the hunters and
Oh yeah,
about
well,
your cow camp and that beautiful little cabin.
okay. Well, we got a cow camp up there, and we had those hunters. They used to go up West Stewart there when I was at the PLs. Then he sold the West Stewart to Olands, and they didn't like Tommy Thompson used to run this hunting club, and he had some women come out the last part of this hunting season, and the Olands didn't like that, so they had to find another place to hunt, so they come over to Willow Creek. And we just had a 2-room cabin, and if that wasn't a mess for a while, we had bunk beds in there, but some of them slept in the attic. Finally, one year I told Mary Lou, I said, let's build a hunting lodge over there for the hunters to stay in. We won't have to do this. We had to move all of our stuff out, and they had to move all theirs in, and the hunting season started, and then when the hunting season was over, they had to move it all out, move their stuff out, and ours back in. So we built what we call a Grand Hotel Hunt Club cabin. It was 30 by 50. And the front part had a front room in it, a kitchen, and then they had bunk beds back there for 20 people. Well, it'd sleep 20 people, yeah. 10 on the bottom and 10 on top. Well, actually met her in Silk, Colorado, but then we had a dance down here at the Rock Schoolhouse one night, and we were down there. And Waddy Love was there, and he said, Pat, why don't you marry that girl? And I said, well, maybe I will, Waddy, I don't know. So, we courted one another I remember I got my brother Johnny to take me out to where she lived up Rifle Creek. And we thought we'd take the shortcut and go up Piceance and down Rifle Creek to where she lived. And we got on. It rained and there was mud with just, those tires on that car he had was about 2 foot wide. We finally made it out on top, and then we got off and washed her boots off and her shoes, whatever we had, and started down the hill and thought we could go. But it just balled up again, and we had a heck of a time getting there. But we made it. And then, I don't know, I finally proposed to her. So we set the wedding for 10th of July, 1945. So we went to Craig, Colorado, and this old preacher married us, and these friends of ours, well, it was Gene Finley and Jim Finley that stood up with me. And he got to talking and talking and talking and talking after he married us, I guess. I'm not sure I ever married Mary Lou, because I fainted, and I'm not sure I ever said I do. I used to tease her about that. She didn't think it was so funny, but it was a good marriage, I thought.
So where'd you go on your honeymoon?
Oh, we went back to camp. I was riding on the calf ride, I guess. So that's where we went to on our honeymoon. Got married on the 10th of July. We was riding. My boys used to live down here. She gave me hell for quitting the ride and going to get married, and come to find out Perry Boy's done the same thing.
The same day?
No, not the same day. No, they were older than Mary Lou and I. We used to go up there and play Penny Ante. We'd go up there to that old people's house, stay all night, and play poker all night, and lose maybe 50 cents or $1, or maybe win 50 cents or $1. Didn't matter. Nobody ever got hurt. But we had a lot of fun with those old people.
And what was your social life other than that? Where did you and Mary Lou go
We
through
did.
those years? Mostly just tent camping and
Yeah, we didn't really do anything cost any money, because we didn't have any money.
Well, you had a ranch at that point to run? You had
I was
a
down. I come down here in 1948, March 15th, 1948. Bought a half interest in this place. Then we bought the Fowler place and the Ebler place. Joe Gregory loaned me the money. Hadn't been for Joe, I probably never would have bought those places, because he just insisted I had to have them, because they fit right into my operation. I guess he was right.
So how many acres is it now that you have to pay taxes on?
Oh, I only pay tax on about 6,000 acres, but I sold a lot of them places. And I didn't reserve the mineral rights. That's the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life, not keeping some of those minerals. All I got left don't have any minerals on them. So I don't get anything out of this gas money. $high-dollar gas.
You get high dollar gas out of it.
It's got $high-dollar gas. Every time we go to the filling station, it costs me more money.
your beef and cattle operation made you a wealthy rancher, didn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say a wealthy rancher, just an old rancher.
But you had your bills paid.
I had what?
You had your bills paid.
Yeah,
That's the difference.
yeah. Mary Lou was kind of tight, boy. She checked every dollar that we spent. I can remember one instance. I still got it. In fact, we still use it. Presto cooker. We went to a dump up there at the PL Ranch. I don't remember which dump we went to, and we found that in there, and she scrubbed on that for 2 weeks. She got it cleaned up. We got a new rubber for the top part and a new weight, and we're still using it. Ty Schultz, he wants one like it. And I bought him one as near as I could like it. He says it's not as good as this one we dug out of the dump. That's when we was first married. Then we made enough money in one hunting season to buy a new cook stove, and it's still up here in the rock house. An old Home Comfort cook stove. But we paid cash for it.
Yeah.
And so tell me what it was like to have a young daughter on your ranch.
Oh, it was great to have Sally. Mary Lou used to carry in front of her when she was just a baby. We'd go ride for cattle and stuff, brand the calves and stuff. Then we used to fix all the fences. I remember she left her one day under a bush. We ate our lunch. She put her under this bush. I went down this steep hill and I got almost to the bottom. She started screaming and hollering at me. So I tried to run back up the hill. I could run then. Got back up there and went to the bush where we left her, and I found her. But Mary Lou got mixed up on the bushes where she put her. She was fine.
And And so when did she learn to drive?
Huh?
Sally. When did she learn to drive?
Oh, she learned to drive out here in the meadows. Thought she couldn't run into any ditches or creeks or anything, so we just let her drive out. She learned to drive out there, and then we got those two camps, one over in Camp Gulch and one there where we stay now. He used to drive a Jeep over there. We'd go over to this other camp and get our horses and ride, and then come back and turn them loose there, and then drive the Jeep back down to camp. There wasn't any deep horses along there, and so I'd let her drive. She'd go out in the brush. I didn't say nothing. She'd get back in the road, though, eventually. But she learned to drive. She's a pretty good driver now.
How old was she when she was driving? First driving?
Oh,
5, 4?
3 or 4. She couldn't reach the foot feed or the clutch pedal or anything, but she learned to drive, and she's a pretty good driver.
So, did you have a rodeo career?
Oh, we tried to rodeoing. That one summer I paid the expenses, but I decided that I either had to stay at the ranch and run the ranch or rodeo. Now, I knew I couldn't make a living rodeoing, so I gave up the rodeoing and spent full time at the ranch. Yeah, we used to go. I remember when Sally was little, we went to a rodeo. She vomited all the way down from the Real Blanco store down to Rifle. She didn't eat anything that morning. She should have ate a cracker or something. She didn't think about it. We was in a hurry.
That's early 50s.
Yeah, that was early 50s.
Early 50s.
Yeah, we're getting back to modern times now.
Yeah, we're getting up to electricity.
Yeah, electricity. Yeah, we got electricity here in '55, and that's when we bought that stove from Gladys.
What did you do before? Lantern? Oil lights?
Yeah, we used Aladdin lamps and kerosene or gas lanterns.
When did you get indoor plumbing?
Well, we put plumbing in here. Same time we got electricity. We put a pump in we had an old tank out there. We used to have carbide lights when we first come here. We done away with them and put in electric lights, bathroom. We was right uptown, I'll tell you. But it took a while to get it all done, I'll tell you.
It was later than most people because you're so rural out here, so
Yeah.
far away from town.
Yeah.
So tell me about when you went to Canada to buy bulls. How did you? Where did you get your bulls? Only from Canada or from local areas?
Oh, we bought bulls in Canada for 20 years from the Hanson Ranch. And then we finally decided we'd get them at home. So we quit. But some of the neighbors are still going to Canada to buy their bulls, the same place I buy them. They liked the bulls, so they went up there. I had to go up there and bid against my neighbor. So I quit.
Yeah.
So how many cattle do you have now?
Oh, I run about 550 mother cows. Then we'll keep all the yearlings, I guess, this year because we got the MTW. We leased the MTW last spring, or Ty did. Ty was talking about it, and I said, well, Ty, If I was 30 years younger, I'd be all for it. But I said, I'm getting old. I can't do much. Well, you can boss. I said, well, I don't know. I'm not too high on it. But anyway, we leased it. It worked out all right the first year. We leased it last spring. So we're going to increase our herd enough to fill that permit, which is 625 head. But we got to run 100 head of MTW cows.
What does that mean, MTW?
Morgan, Terrell, and Williams. They bought the PLs. They use that for their brand. MTW. Morgan, Terrell, and Williams.
I suppose they're not from around here.
No, they're from Louisiana. St. Charles, Louisiana, I think.
So who's left on Piceance Creek that you grew up with?
Oh, part of the old lands, but the older ones are dead. And Waddy Love died, and Helen Love. There's not many left. I've outlived them all.
It's the Scotch. It's the Scotch.
Oh yeah,
whiskey.
that Scotch whiskey. That's what that is. Yeah.
It's the Johnson bloodline.
Yeah.
Your family lived to be quite old.
Yeah.
Sisters.
My mother especially.
Yeah.
Dad, he died when he was 70, but that's pretty good age, I guess. You get checking around, looking in the obituaries and stuff, and a lot of people don't live to be 70.
He was alive when I was a little girl. I was born in 1950. And I remember him.
Dad?
Your dad.
Yeah.
But he died shortly after I was born. I remember he had red hair, didn't he?
Oh, I don't think he's red.
Was he blondish?
Yeah, he's kind of blondish.
Did he mellow out as he grew older? Did he enjoy you? Did you have a good friendship with him?
Pretty good. He was pretty stern. He was a good dad. I'll say that for him. But he was pretty stern. When he told you to do something, by God, you better do it. Because he was going to mess around with you if you didn't.
When he was older, was he fun to be around?
Yeah, he was kind of fun. He mellowed a lot, but he was still pretty stern.
Tell us what happened to your mother after she left the ranch. Did she have a good life?
Well, she moved to Meeker and lived in a trailer house over there. She had this white dog. What the hell did she call that dog?
Jacques.
Jack. Jock, yeah. And she loved that dog. I think she enjoyed her life.
She traveled?
No, she never did travel much. She stayed home.
Mm-hmm.
I think people came to her.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, she was too old to go anywhere.
Remember, she got in a wreck going someplace once, remember?
Oh, yeah. Some friends took her to Denver. And on the way back, some construction work there or something, and hurt her neck. She had to turn her whole body. She couldn't turn her neck to look. She had to turn her whole upper body to see. But she didn't complain about it very much.
I wanted to ask you what happened the time that you got lost in the snowstorm.
Well, I shorted about 10 head of cows and calves, and we counted them. And this was in January. I don't know what part, I can't give you the date in January, but I went, Tim Schultz and Tim was over here. So I called him up that morning before they moved. Sally was still living in Meeker. They were. So I called him up and said, do you want to fly this morning to see if we can find some cows? Yeah, I'll go with you. So we flew and found the cows right. I knew where they'd be, I thought. We built this new drift fence, and there's a deep wash there, deeper than this house. And it blowed full of snow, and them cows wouldn't cross that. There was a gate on the other side, but I don't know why we didn't put a gate on that side, because after that happened, I had a gate put in there the next spring. When we fixed the fence, we put a gate in there so we could open it in the fall. But I went up there to find those cows, and we found them in the plain, and then I come home. It's about noon. I got home, and I took my horse trailer and my horse and went up to Fowler Place and unloaded. Went up there, and snow wasn't. It wasn't real deep, but it was deep enough, and the drifts was pretty bad. But I went off down in this gulch. I got down there and I looked at the cows. I thought maybe I could take them down East Hunter, but there's a big drift that blowed up there along the creek. They wouldn't go around it. So I couldn't get out of there. That old horse just quit me. I took my lariat over and underneath him, but he just wouldn't go. He wouldn't fight those drifts out of that gulch. So I thought, well, now if I try to tromp me a trail out of here, I can't make it. Then I'll be wet. The way it is, I'm dry. So I just went down there where them old cows been bedding, and the ground was bare there where they'd been laying. I built me a fire. I spent the night there. The food wasn't very good, and the bedding wasn't very good, but I stayed there anyway. This was in January. It wasn't very cold that night, though, thank goodness. And then about 11 or 12 o'clock, I heard some ski-doos up on the ridge, and it was Tim Uphoff and his brother Brad were up there on the ski-doos, and I hollered at them, and I told them, I said, don't try to come down in here. You might not be able to get out. I said, just go back and tell everybody that I'm all right, and I'll get out of here in the morning. So they went back and told everybody, but Mike Brennan and Jerry Oland were up Main Hunter, and they missed East Hunter, and they went up Main Hunter. So I got up the next morning and saddled my horse. I thought, well, I'll go try to get out of here. And about that time, I heard these ski-doos coming down the bottom of East Hunter, so I rode my horse down there, and here was Jerry and Mike Brennan. And so I saddled my horse, and Jerry put saddle on his ski-doo, and I got on with Mike, and out of there we came. Got back here at the ranch. Had breakfast.
Did you get in trouble? Did you hear anything about it?
No, I didn't get in trouble. Everybody's too glad to see me. I knew I was going to cause a stink on Piceance Creek, though, and I didn't show up. Mary Lou went up. Well, she got Jim and Ellie Uphoff, and they went up Willow Creek as far as they could go, up to where I left the horse trailer. She thought she knew well, she did know where I went, but I told her where I was going, but they couldn't go any further in their vehicles. Snow was too deep. But it turned out all right.
Did you get the cows back?
Yeah, it's hard to Wayne Joslin to go up there and doze me out at the road. I went up the next day and got him. He filled that horse full of mud and snow, and them old cows just went right across it. But after I turned my horse loose, I just turned him loose, took the bridle off of him, and he went down there and went right through that drift. I couldn't get him to go through the night before. He was down here at the Greeno house that afternoon. Come as far as he could come, he got behind the fence and couldn't get out. But it was a different experience.
Then there was another thing that happened recently with your new truck.
Oh, yeah. I don't like to talk about that. You would have to bring that up.
You don't have to talk about it.
Well, I got this new truck with an automatic drive in it. And I was up Gardenhire Gulch one morning. I was caking some cows up there. First time I'd driven it. And I didn't put it in park. I left it in high gear. And it sat there for 2 hours, just sat there. I had the motor running. So I finally decided, well, I might just well cake them cows. There's all there that's going to come after 2 hours. So I got out to open a sack of cake. This old cow reached up the back of the pickup and pushed that pickup enough to start it down the well, it run off the road and down through the brush. And I made the mistake of trying to catch it. If it does that again, I'm not going to chase it. I'm just going to sit down on a rock and let it go. But I tried to catch it. Brand new pickup. I thought, hell, I better do something. So I was almost to get in the door. I had it open. And I was about to get in the seat. I hit this brush. And that brush hit that door and knocked me under that pickup. It ran over me.
Well, my point
Didn't
is,
run over my head, but
my point is, you're a tough old bird, aren't you?
I must be.
Yep.
And then I laid there for 3 hours before anybody came along. Finally, some oilies come along. I see this pickup go up the road, and I hollered and waved at him then, but he didn't see me. And I said, I'm going to have to crawl. I couldn't get in that pickup to drive it out of there. I just hurt so bad every time I'd move, I couldn't stand it. But I finally got in a position where when he come out of there, I hollered at him, and he finally saw me. There was another well right across over there. I didn't know there was anybody over there. I'd have been hollering more. But he wouldn't touch me until he went and got that other guy. I said, somebody's got to help me. So he went and talked to him, and they came over there and got me and helped me. And then I told him, somebody's got to drive me to Rifle to the hospital. So this one guy did, but I've never seen that guy to thank him for it since he drove me out to Rifle, and then he drove my pickup back to his and left it up Gardenhire Gulch.
When was that, Pat? When was that?
Oh, it was about a couple of years ago, I guess. Been 2004, I think. But I don't know, this pickup's at 2005, I think. And that's the first time I drove the sucker. So I might be wrong on the dates, but
Well,
it
they
don't
come
matter. It don't matter anyway.
They come out a year early.
Huh?
If that was a new truck, they come out a year early.
Yeah, I come out a year early, so it was in 19.
So,
I think it was 2000.
you worked really hard your whole life, and so your body could, at your age, withstand such a trauma.
Yeah. Well, I was pretty lucky it didn't run over my head. That's the only mistake it made. It should have run over my head.
You've been okay.
Might have stopped it.
Yeah.
Stopped right on my head, probably. But I hurt. Then I went to the hospital. This old boy took me out to the hospital, out of Rifle, that new one. And they wanted me to sign all these papers. And I said, I'll sign those papers, but I'm not going to sign them now. I want you to give me something to stop the pain. So they finally did. I had to get kind of nasty with them, but I stayed in there about a week. Poorest damn food I ever ate in my life. I told them so too. But I lived. I guess it was all right.
What was the damage?
I didn't have any broken bones.
That's
They
amazing.
x-rayed me from head to toe. So I guess when the pressure got, I was in the right spot.
Yeah, the dirt gave out a bit, and
Yeah, something.
It's amazing.
yeah, did you eat that cow this year? The one that pushed the truck?
No, I sold her.
Looking
Yes.
back on your life, Pat, what were some of the most fabulous things that you can remember?
Oh, I don't know. I can think of a lot of them, but I've said enough, I think.
Have you?
Haven't I?
Yeah, if we're winding down, this has been a really excellent time. You know, that's, what do you want to do yet?
What I want to do?
What do you want to do with the rest of your life?
I just want to be healthy. I'm not going to do anything exciting, I know that.
I don't see a Hawaii.
Our golden years aren't what they're supposed to be.
Do you have someone new that's going to be coming into your family?
Yeah, I'm going to have I'm going to be a great granddad here in December. Might be born on my birthday. Suppose it's due the 6th. My birthday's the 4th, so could happen 2 days early.
Well, we have this to look forward to.
Huh?
You've got that to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they know whether it's going to be a boy or a girl?
Yeah, they peeked. I said it's not. I told them first I didn't want to know, and I said, well, I guess, Benj, you know. Everybody else will know. I might just well know.
So what's it going to be?
It's going to be a boy.
Oh my.
Supposed to be, but they do make mistakes. That's what I told them. Not to be disappointed if it's a girl, because the girls are nice.
That's great.
Do you get to pick the name? You got any suggestions?
Well, Ty's got this good friend named Jack, so I guess he's going to call him Jack. But if it's a girl, they can call her Jackie.
You've had a remarkable life, and growing up and hearing about you and our mom,
Yeah.
talking about that. She said she was down here at the Safeway this summer
Yeah.
and ran into you.
Yeah.
And she hugged on your neck,
Yeah.
and it caused a stir in town. They wanted to know who you were seeing.
See. Yeah. Yeah, they seem to know me there at the city market. I don't go in there very often. I haven't been in there this year. I went in there once, I guess. But I spent a lot of time down Surprise, Arizona with Sally last winter after I had that hip operation. They wouldn't let me do nothing around here, so I went down there, but I found out there's nothing down there to do. I don't think I'll go as early this year.
But you plan on headed to Arizona.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
when
I'll
it-
go down there, Arizona. But
When it gets cold out here, it's okay though.
yeah. Yeah, it gets cold here on a good winter. We need a good winter. That snow gets about deep as that light is high from the floor up. We need a lot of snow. This old ground's so dry that it's going to take a lot of moisture to wet it up. But we've had some good years and some bad years. this is kind of a mediocre year. We got plenty of moisture, but it was a little too late. But better late than never.
Okay, well, I think we've had a tremendous on the start of filming. I think I'm pleased with this. So we'll make you a movie star.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be exciting. At my age, get up on the stage and fall down. And we hit that buck one night and we couldn't find it. We never did find it.
And you were with who?
I was with Carl Hazelbush. He had run some sheep up there at that time. And the next day, Mary Lou and I went down. We was going to try to find the workhorses and gather them, start haying. So we went down there, and I sent her back up Jackrabbit Ridge, and I went off into Bear's Run and come up there. And when we went down the top of the ridge, we went down at the end of it and looked off on each side for the horses, and we didn't find them. So we came back, and I sent her up the top of Jackrabbit Ridge, and I went off into Bear's Run and come up it. As we were going down, we saw the birds flying up down there, and I told Mary Lou, I said, that's where that buck is. I'm going to check it and see how big it is. So when I got up there, the birds started flying up, and this bear took off. But he's full of deer meat. He couldn't run very fast. He made a run for the trees, and I outrun him on this horse. This horse I was riding wasn't scared of that bear at all. But I outrun him and drove him up this little gulch. It's pretty open. Drove him out on top to where Mary Lou was. I told her where I'd meet her. So I drove him up there. You could throw a rope on him, and he'd just take his paw and throw it off. But anyway, I guess I could let Mary Lou sit there and watch the bear, and I could have gone home, we got a gun and come back and shot him, but we decided we'd just let him go. So we let him go. And then Johnny and I was riding over there in dry parachute one fall, trying to get us some yearlings. Johnny was up this little draw there, and he hollered at me. He said, Pat, come up here. We got bears up here. So I went up there. The old mother bear had come down her. She was up one different tree, and there was two cubs up, one up each at a different tree. So Johnny said, how are we going to get those bears out of that tree? And I said, well, I don't know how you're going to get yours, but I'm going to climb up there and get mine.
They were babies?
Yeah, they were getting pretty good size, though. So I come up there, and he was watching his bear. I got up there, and I chased that bear clear at the top of that tree. When he got to the top of the tree, he just come right down the other side. I finally got a rope around his neck and front leg so he couldn't throw the loop off, and I'd take a dally around the limb, and here he'd come. And he never did make a mistake. He went around the same way I wrapped that dally on that limb, and up the tree he come, and he chewed my boots pretty good. I kicked him in the mouth. Finally, I told Johnny, I said, you're going to have to help me get my bear. So he left his tree and come over to help me, and that little old cub got out and left. It's probably a good thing, because after we finally got that cub out of the tree, Johnny said, you stay here and watch him, and I'll go home and get my car, and we'll put him in the trunk. So he went back to Weesey and got his car and brought it over there. I could hear the old mother bear thrashing around up the trees, but she never did come back, try to save that cub. So we put it in the trunk of his car and brought it to the ranch, and then Johnny decided he'd take it out, show it to Dick Meeker. He was living out the rifle. So he got out there, and Johnny walked up the sidewalk and told Dick, he said, "Bring it in, Johnny, bring it in." Audrey was having a bridge party. Boy, when he let that bear in the front door, I guess, them women just jumped up on tables and everything else. Some of them got out. Anyway, we brought him back to the ranch. Johnny did. And I had an uncle here, Uncle Wiley, Uncle Lahue, was here from Texas, and he took the bear and took it back to Texas with him.
Oh my goodness.
Then they butchered a beef down there and fed it the lungs out of it. The beef choked it to death. But they sent pictures. He was a great big old black bear. They'd fed him pretty good. He looked pretty good.
And he was friendly?
Never did get friendly, Bobby. Never did get friendly. What time? No, she left this morning about 6 o'clock. She's going to Arizona. She's going to beat the snowstorm. Okay. Well, I'll see, Casey. I don't know. I don't like to drive after dark. Huh? Oh, are they? I suppose. Okay, I'll see. All right, thank you. Thank you, Casey. Bye. Casey Burke. The little girl's having a birthday party. They want me to come down. But I can't see after dark, and I have to be home before dark. And I don't try to drive. If I can't get home before dark, I just stay where I'm at.
I'm the same way. I don't like to drive after dark either.
I see all kinds of animals and stuff in the road. I just can't see after dark. So I don't drive after dark.
That's the rules.
That's the rule. That's the rule.
I don't do that.
I don't die in a damn car wreck or get crippled up in a car wreck and have to lay in a hospital,
That would be
nursing
lousy.
home for the rest of your life.
That would ruin everything.
Yeah.
You're safe right there, though.
I'm safe here in this chair.
That's
not-
the command center, right?
Yeah.
That's where you do all your dealings and talk to your men and
Yeah.
your family.
Yeah.
We're going tomorrow we're going to go over to Meeker and talk to Beverly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have
Yeah, she can fill everything in. She can smooth everything out.
They-
She probably remembers the date. She's got a lot of pictures.
Yeah, but she
She what?
she didn't spend the night up there in a snowdrift, though.
No, well, she ought to live forever, hadn't she? And then get run over by a pickup.
Your own pickup, too.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
I wouldn't just tell everybody that.
Well, it was
Yeah.
a different kind of a pickup than you'd had before because
Yeah.
you had a clutch before.
Yeah, I had to clutch it before, and this one didn't. And I didn't realize that, see, but I sat there for long enough that if it was going to move, it should have moved before but when that old cow pushed on that tailgate, it took off. And it was in drive. So all I knew to do was try to catch the damn thing before it ran off in that wash, and I did.
You did.
But luckily it stopped after it ran over me, because I couldn't have done nothing after it ran over me. I couldn't move. I just ached all over.
How long did it take for you to feel better?
Oh, till that damn drug started working.
Yeah, we know that. How many months did it take for your body to recover?
Oh, I don't know whether I'm really recovered from it or not. I guess I am.
Yeah, that's
I
break
don't-
you up pretty bad, and it's bruising and
Yeah, it just
You
bruised
know.
the heck out of me. I didn't have a spot you couldn't touch. It wasn't sore. That's my head,
I bet you were pretty cranky, huh?
probably. Probably pretty damn cranky.
There's one more story that I'm interested in. And
What's
it's
that?
about the death of Buddy Meeker.
Oh yeah. Well, that was a bad blow, but he was a real good friend. He's more like a brother to me than any of all my brothers were older, see. But they were in Salt Lake, and they told him not to fly home. But they said they had to get home. So there's another couple in there too, said they had to get home. So they started flying home, and they got up Strawberry there. Plane iced up and flew into the hill. And I started to take a saddle horse and go up there the next morning when I heard about it. If I had him, I'd have rode right up on that plane. I'd have found it. But the way it was, it took about a week to find it. But it wouldn't have made any difference. I guess there wasn't any. They said there wasn't a piece of anybody that was. But he had a ring on his finger. And I guess that finger was separated from his body. Flew into that hillside and just blew up, I guess.
And you'd spent a lot of time with him growing up?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was there at the Mega Ranch. He was. Yeah, I'd forgotten about Dewey Williams and Molly. See, Dewey was Audrey Meeker's brother. Yeah.
Anything else you can think of you want to?
any lies you want to tell us?
Any more lies? No,
Yeah.
I don't have any more lies. That pretty well takes care of the highlights of my life, I guess. If there is any highlights.
How about winning in Las Vegas? You liked to gamble, didn't you?
Yeah, I like to gamble, but I haven't been doing very good lately. First time I went down there, though, that was a kick. Well, Mary Lou liked to play Keno, and she usually won on the Keno. So I was playing at the Riviera, and I made about $2,700 there, and all the rest of them wanted to go to the Golden Nugget. I didn't really want to leave, but I thought, well, hell, I'll go up there. I went up there, and Mary Lou went down over to the Keno table, and I was playing there, and I started out at $13. I bet $13, then I doubled it to 26, and then I went to 52, then I went to 104. Thought I was doing pretty good, and I couldn't lose. That's the first time I ever went to Las Vegas. I didn't know what I was doing. Well, if he was sitting there with 18, the dealer, and I could see he had 18, and I had something, I'd hit it. Whatever I needed, I'd get. If I had 17, I'd hit a 4 and get 21. And so this one old guy, I seen him up there watching me, and he walked down there to where Mary Lou was, and she said, "What's going on up there?" He said, "Some old cowboy up there has got them pit bosses pulling their hair out." Said they've changed dealers on him and switched cards on him and everything else, and he just can't lose. And I've never had a streak like that before, since then. But if I had 15, I hit, he had 18 or 19, I'd get 21.
So did Mary Lou tell him that you were the husband? Or she
Yeah.
just played along with it?
She just played along with him.
And so what did you come home with?
Oh, I won another $2,700 there, but I should have won. Then I went back down there the next day, and that old one of those old dealers said, if you'd have been betting enough money, you could own this damn place. He said, I never seen anybody. You made 63 straight hands and never lost a hand.
Oh my.
So I should have been betting 500. I suppose that's the limit. But live and learn. But I had a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun winning off of them. But now I go out there and I get 12 and 13s and 14s and hit them and I go busted.
And so you came home and you gave your sister Gladys $100, $100 bill.
Oh, did I?
Or two $200 bills.
Okay.
$200 bills. And she just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Easy come, easy go.
That's great.
I'm going to go back here and cover some areas. Maybe I can spark some different ideas. Where were you when you heard they dropped the bomb at Pearl Harbor? I mean, when Pearl Harbor came, December 7th. Can you think about how you heard about that?
Yeah, I'd heard about it, but I don't know of anything exciting.
Do you remember how you felt? How
Oh
old
yeah,
you were?
I felt like hell. Everybody did, I guess. But I don't know if that helped the people that were blown up. But we went out there and went through that one time, and that was interesting.
You and Mary Lou went to Hawaii?
Yeah. Mary Lou and I and some other friends went out there.
Tell me about your travels. You've been to Canada and you've been to Hawaii. Did you go to Europe?
Yeah.
Where'd you go
One
there?
trip. We went to France. I'm never going back again. I'm not going overseas.
What was it like in France?
Oh, those damn Frenchmen don't like the American people. They don't try to help you, and they knew we couldn't speak French, but they wouldn't try to help us. We went in there to eat. We finally got some hors d'oeuvres. Then I checked my damned hat in. I had my hat on. I don't know why I did. I didn't wear it much after that. But anyway, they don't want to help the American people. They hate us American. All those people over there do, I think. Don't they?
When did you go there?
Yeah.
20 years ago?
Probably 20 years ago.
Did you get your hat back?
Yeah, I did. But I went to get my hat, and all I had was a $100 bill. So I gave him a $100 bill, and I stood around there and I thought I'd give him some change. But hell, he didn't give me no change. So we walked out of that place, and I told Mary Lou, I said, that cost me $100 to chuck that damn hat in there. By God, I'm going back and get it, she said. So she went back and got the $100 bill. She had some change. Said, it's not worth $100 to chuck that hat in there. And I said, well, I know it. But I stood there, waited for my to make change because I didn't have any little change. But she got it.
That was pretty much the way it was your whole life, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Scrappy little wife.
She's scrappy. Yeah. But I loved her.
You stayed down. You went to high school in Rifle.
Yeah.
Um,
4 years.
Did you live with Fred and Gladys the whole time?
Well, I went out and stayed with Jess and Jody Heiberger to start with. And they had a little ranch just below Rifle. It's all houses now and stuff where they had their place. But I don't know, I'd just never been away from home, and it wouldn't have made any difference where I'd stayed. I'd still got homesick, I think.
Missed your mama.
Yeah. And we were kind of a close family at one time. It kind of got scattered in the later years, but
well,
in-laws and outlaws.
You didn't go anywhere.
Huh?
They scattered. You didn't.
Yeah, I know it. I'm a Piceance cricker. I guess I'll die down here. I don't know.
Well,
I hope you do.
I hope so.
yeah.
I hope you don't have to go
Nah, that's.
any place else. That's what I tell Dad.
I hope I don't have to go to a nursing home. Not that that one in Rifles is good. They were real good with Mary Lou. They took good care of her. And you go in there and you don't smell somebody pooping their pants either. If you do, you go tell them girls and they'll go clean it up.
Yeah.
And they are real good to Mary Lou.
Who's watching you here? Who's checking on you?
Nobody. I check on myself. Oh, Clinton. He'd check on me, I guess. If I died, he'd call a mortuary, tell him to come get me.
Do you cook your own meals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't eat much.
Well, you're carrying good weight.
Yeah, I'm fat enough. I don't want to get fat. Oh, Sally Lou fixed up a lot of stuff for me before she left.
You have people from the ranches around here that call you for birthday parties and
Oh, yeah.
different events.
Yeah.
Your sister talks to you often?
Huh?
Beverly calls you? Beverly calls you?
Oh, yeah, I talk to her about every day. She gets tired of me, I think, but she never has said she does. I don't tell her any news. I say, I call you to find out what the news is. Well, I should call Roy more often, but it's kind of hard for me to get a hold of him.
Does he have a phone in his room?
Yeah, he does now. I called him the other day. But he didn't for a while. Then you call and he was down in that part where you can either eat or you don't have to eat. What do you call it?
Assisted living.
Assisted living.
Mm-hmm.
He was in that for a while, but I think he's in the hospital now.
I talked to him last week, and he's got his own room, and
He's got his own room.
He's got a flat panel TV.
Oh, yeah.
He pushes the button and he gets help.
Pushes the button when he goes to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got one in my bedroom too. I go to bed when it gets dark.
As you did before you had electricity. Nothing changes, does it?
No, I get up early, but I go to bed early. So you should get up. But my old arthritis in my shoulders, they start hurting. After I lay there so long. But at night, it feels good to get in that bed and stretch out.
What year were you born?
1921. How old am I?
Old.
Older than hell. I know that.
85?
I'll be 85 the 4th day of December, if I make it that long. I think I
They
will.
got that grandson coming. You
Jack,
I gotta wait for that grandson,
That's right.
then I can die.
then you can go be with Mary Lou.
Yeah, that's right. She probably won't have anything to do with me up there. Will she?
Your mother lived to be 95, so you probably have at least 10 good years, if not 15. So you got to find something to do, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I keep this ranch. I got something to do. I get out and drive around every day. If I don't get run over with them damn gassies, you gotta wait up here. There's a damn car going by there all the time.
You should put a siren and a light bar and like a policeman, and just
Yeah.
set it running. They'll stop.
Tell them to put a stop sign up there for me to get out on the road.
I had a memory just now. When Sally Lou was a little girl, you started a herd for her.
A what?
A herd of cattle.
Yeah.
Tell me what you did and how that worked for her.
Well, hell, she got damn near as many as I have now. Ty, he wants to get rid of them. See, well, I gave Sally a calf when she was born. And we sent in got her a brand. We sent in Square SL brand, and the brand board passed it. I didn't think they would on account of the Square S, but it's a backward S. This is a straight S, Square S. It's a Square S L behind it. She's got quite a few cattle. Well, we didn't have no money to buy her anything, so we just gave her a potty calf. And it's grown into quite a bunch of cattle. Sally wants to keep them too. Ty, he wanted it. Well, I gave Ty one. He's got a TI, lazy TI quarter circle. And then Andy, I gave her one, and they've all got cattle.
And they're all here?
And they're all here, and they don't buy a damn straw of hay or nothing. It don't cost them anything to run them.
That's quite a nice legacy to leave them.
It's what?
A good legacy for you to leave
Yeah.
them.
But Ty, he wants to get rid of those odd brands, his and Sally's and Andy's. Well, it is a nuisance in the spring when we're branding. We've got to separate, pair all them cows up that's got different brands on them, and then we brand the rest of them /EVE. Now, I get those. If there's any left. But Sally Lou throwed a fit. She said, that's what I'm going to live on, those cows. So I guess we're not going to get rid of their brand.
That's wonderful. So I think there's more to the story about Sally and her little herd, because you taught her how to care for them and how to round them up when she was 5 or 6
Yeah,
years
she's
old.
a good hand. She's a lot of help. She used to come out and help me gather the beef every fall, even after her and Tim had married. And I don't know what the hell happened there, but I thought after 32 years they'd lived together, but I was kind of worried when they first started, because they both only children. They were kind of selfish, I think.
But Sally's happy in golfing and living in a warm climate now.
Yeah.
She has a place for you where she can...
Yeah, I got a little bed and a bathroom and everything out there. And I can go to bed when I want to, and I can get up when I want to.
You play any golf?
No, I don't play any golf. I don't think my old shoulders would stand it. I tried it once, but...
Are there interesting people there?
Huh?
Have you met interesting people out there?
Oh, some, but not very interesting. Most of them are old people who go down there. They call them snowbirds.
And you're not old.
No, and I'm not old, so I don't fit in very well.
You remind me so much when I look at you of Winnie. You guys could have been twins.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss Winnie. I miss them all, I guess, but...
There were a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Well, I look at the progression of pictures over time. You
Yeah.
know, and those that could still stand would stand and get their picture taken. Last time I remember was up above Meeker, up there at those cabins.
Oh, yeah.
Family met up there that time and barbecued. And
The green cabins.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That happened.
Yeah, that was a year or two after we had it at the camp, wasn't it?
Then they had another one at Roy and Margaret's.
Oh, yeah.
But before we could get pictures of the surviving siblings, they all took off.
Oh, they did.
I saw the picture of you all standing up there and look there and see old Wayman.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh gosh, wasn't he great? Your brother Wayman.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Gladys in that car rumbling all over Meeker together, living in that assisted living together.
Yeah.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
I just think it was great they had such last couple years together
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah. That Audie was a dream too.
Audie. Yeah.
Oh, Audie the cook, huh?
Yeah. Audie the Naughty Audie, I used to call her. Naughty Audie. She got where she liked it.
Isn't she one? She's just a wonderful woman, huh?
Yeah, she was a wonderful person.
She cooked for Mrs. Roosevelt.
Yeah. She was a hell of a cook too. I'll say that for Sally. She's a cook. She's a good cook. And I don't know where she got it because Mary Lou didn't want her in the kitchen messing it up. She said, I always have to clean up the mess. And I didn't think she'd cook boil water without burning it. But she's a good cook. I don't know who she got it from. Gladys, I guess.
Tell me about Edith.
Edith?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's kind of different.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
She loved Mike. Do you remember Mike?
Yeah, she loved Mike. She had 2 other husbands since then, but I guess they're all dead now. I don't know what happened to the last one. She was still alive. I went to see her over there. She was in one of those.
Tell me about Virginia.
Well, she had a hell of a life. She had that MS.
She's always happy, always smiling.
Yeah. Seemed like it. That Bobbe Williams, he's quite a fellow, but I don't see him anymore. He don't come see me, and I don't go see him. I'm not going to Denver. Told everybody that.
We'll give him this tape to make sure that he knows that he needs to come see you.
Huh?
We'll make sure he gets a copy of this tape so he knows that the invitation's for this side of the mountain, right?
Yeah. He's invited over here, but I'm not going over there. I don't want to die in Denver.
It's, you know,
Damn fools would run over me.
I lived there. You know, I come from there.
Yeah.
So my wife, bless her heart, she was born and raised in Denver,
Yeah.
and so there's not
She
much.
knew how to get around them. That makes a difference.
Yeah.
Well, we went to Canada one time and left. Sally was going to college over there, and we left the car at Sally's. And when we come back, by God, she knew Denver too. She drove that car. And she's still a good driver.
That's great.
But I taught her up Bull Gulch to drive.
Yeah. Can you tell us about Ray, your brother who died in the machine accident?
After what?
Your brother Ray, that would be Philip Johnson's dad.
Yeah.
He was older. Was he the
Yeah,
oldest?
he's the oldest. Ray was the oldest. Johnny was second oldest. Then Gladys, and then Edith.
Tell me about Ray and Johnny. Just some of the things that you remember about them when they were younger, maybe.
Well, Ray used to work down here at the Square S, and he met Emma down there. They fell in love, and he married her, but Emma had this old horse, and I had to ride that horse to rifle. She wanted it out to rifle, and so Ray bought me a new pair of boots for riding that horse to rifle. And that's one thing I didn't think about, those boots in that fire. When that fire burned up the house, it burned up my boots.
Your mother lost everything in that fire.
Yeah.
She lost pictures.
A lot of pictures.
She lost inheritance, things that maybe she brought from Texas with her that were families.
Yeah.
She actually had to start all over, didn't she?
Yeah, she had to start all over, lost everything. And that's a bad deal.
What about Johnny? I adored Johnny. He was the greatest guy.
Yeah, he was an ornery sucker. He was mischievous. The hell. Him and Belinda didn't get along very good. But that's their business.
She was a beautiful woman. I remember her at Fred and Gladys's when I was little. you all came there and sat around the kitchen table, pretty much like we're doing now.
Yeah.
How was he mischievous? Was he mischievous only as a child, or was he always that way?
Oh, he's always that way, I think. I remember one time they tell it on him. I wasn't there, but down in Texas someplace, Ray come running home, hollering, "Mama, Mama, Johnny's down there drinking nigger coffee." But it didn't seem to hurt him. He was still ornery.
What was it?
Huh?
What was the coffee?
It was coffee. Nigger coffee.
Black
It
coffee.
was black coffee, I
I
guess.
see. Sorry. I thought maybe it had alcohol in it or something.
No. It was just nigger coffee. I don't know. I guess they make coffee out of coffee. I don't know.
Black
What the
coffee.
niggers do.
I get it. Well, what else did he do? Did he play tricks on you?
Huh?
Johnny, did he play tricks on you?
Oh, yeah. He played tricks on everybody, but I can't start to tell you all the tricks he played on me.
Just tell me one.
Yeah, he was a little older, see. But I remember him. He was down in Quebec, someplace down there. Before they had these big, heavy, it was just a little place they put people in jail. And Johnny was riding a horse down there, and he just roped the damn jail and jerked it over and let the guy out that was in there that had locked up. I don't remember who it was he had let out, but whether he'd done something mean or not.
Well, he got in trouble for riding into the saloon in Rifle.
Yeah, I
With
know.
his horse right in there, and they arrested him.
Yeah.
He was a real cowboy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, where were you at, and what did you think about when we landed on the moon?
I thought we shouldn't be tanking around up there, is what I thought. But
Well, you lived when there wasn't a car,
yeah,
and you lived when,
when the Model A came out, that's what we moved from Texas in, I guess, was 2 old Model A trucks. We'd camp under a bridge every night, so if it rained, we didn't get wet.
kind of like the Clampetts, huh?
Huh?
Kind of
Well.
like the Clampetts on TV.
Yeah.
You had all of your possessions, your rocking chairs,
Yeah, everything. I don't know how they done it. They made it.
Why did you come to Piceance Creek?
Well, Dad, Grandpa, they filed a homestead down here on the other side of Ryan's Gulch. Bunch of damned old rum rocks and cedar trees is all they had. They finally decided they couldn't make a living there, so that's when Dad started contracting hay. Well, he worked for Bob Reagan and drove the mail there for a couple of 3 years, I guess.
How much money could you make driving the mail?
Oh, I don't know. Probably $30 a month. That's what I got. I got out of high school. I got $30 a month in my board, buckskin and spuds. And I saved money. You buy Levi's then for 50 cents a pair. Now they cost a month's wages to buy them. $30 a month.
Times have changed, haven't they?
Yeah, they've changed. Everything's gone up. Nothing's gone down that I know of. Well, I think you about drained me. I don't know.
I saw him yawn there. Did you see him
Yeah,
yawn?
yeah.
I saw you yawn.
That was a good last 10 minutes though, because Johnny was a wild child.
Yeah,
And Ray, he was a solid one, huh?
yeah.
And his life ended early.
Huh?
His life ended early. He got run over by a
Yeah, by a front-end loader.
front-end loader.
And the guy that ran over him had worked there for 20 years, I guess, and Ray'd worked there for 20 years. I think they wonder if he'd just come out on that deck and then had a heart attack and died. But I don't know. We'll never know what killed him, whether he got killed or whether he died a natural death. But
It's quite a family. Can you spend 5 minutes on Gladys?
yeah, she was a wonderful sister. She was a wonderful cook too. And she worked hard too. On that damn filling station, she run it most of the time. Fred helped her a little once in a while, and then she finally went to work for Mr. Beale. She had a good job there. But Fred was never satisfied. He was always wanting to move. I don't know how many. She'd just get the house cleaned up and he'd want to move someplace else. I remember that one year when I was staying with him, we had Fred leased this place up. You go up the hill and past the cemetery over there at the end of that lane. Do you remember that?
It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there, I guess. I don't
Yep.
know. And we had a milk cow. I got the job of milking the damn cow. I didn't mind it though, but she'd make that apple butter and we'd take that thick cream. Did you eat some of it?
Oh, yeah.
Put cream on that apple butter and just plain old bread and apple butter and cream on top. Just take a fork and just eat it. Damn, it's good. I haven't found anybody that make any better apple butter.
She was the nurse out here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, she was. I don't know why she didn't get to be a real nurse. She was just a nurse's aide, I guess, and didn't get paid much, but she worked
75 cents an hour.
75 cents an hour.
Help deliver all the babies. All the babies in my
Well,
phone.
out here early, she was, if you had a cut or a wound or something like that, she'd doctor up and
Yeah.
I remember her hands. Can you put your hand up and show the camera your fingers? They look just like Gladys's. And Winnie's.
Which side you want to look at? I got that crooked finger.